universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota. And one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Om Ganati Mirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Akandamandalakaram Yaptayena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Yasya Prasadadagyopi Sadek Sarvagyatam Rajet Shri Chaitanya Devami Bhagavan Samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be merciful unto me, because by His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Tam Shrimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagat Guru Misyanukampaya Shvapi Mahabdim Santaretsukam. Another one from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Guru of the whole world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose grace even a little dog can cross a great ocean easily and happily. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yesterday we have started verse 2, mantra 2 of the Isopanishad, encouraging us to work without working. The first mantra encourages detachment by the word tyaktena, very similar to tyaga, detachment. So we offer things to Krishna. Who has offered anything to Krishna, remembering this from our class? Did your pillow remind you, or in the morning, or japa, or something you offered? In the mind, okay. Did you feel some switch or some change in your consciousness? Who has felt some shift, some movement? Yes, it's very powerful. These seem to be simple things, and we hear them a lot, and therefore sometimes we think, oh, this is, yeah, of course we do this. But they are super powerful. They're actually more valuable than gold and jewels. These things that are the treasures of our sampradaya and of the Vedic literatures. So this second mantra says that even though you are detached, you please do work. Please do work as long as necessary to reach full realization. Vedanta Deshika says in his commentary, or also as long as your full healthy life, full life lasts. Of course, nowadays speaking about healthy life, that's already somewhat of an exaggeration, but you know the definition of health? Health is when every day you have pain in a different place. Then it means you're healthy. When it's in the same place, oh, that's already some disease. So, according to this definition, we are probably somewhat healthy, more or less. Yes. Some things from the purport we did not discuss from mantra 2. Prabhupada speaks about karma, akarma, and vikarma. These three concepts are very helpful. Krishna introduces them in the Gita. He discusses them in chapter 3 and 4. Karma, akarma, and vikarma. And we will see that a lot of commentaries will be based on these three things. Karma, akarma, and vikarma. So, vikarma is what? Sinful, yeah. Vikarma, sinful. Oftentimes we call people who who are non-devotees karmis, or in today's people we call them karmis, but that's a very generous name, because a karmi is someone who strictly follows all the Vedic prescriptions. He is a karmi. He does karma, because karma brings him up to the heavenly planets. So that's a karmi. And then akarma. Akarma is somebody who wants to be free. And of course in the Gita, Krishna says that oftentimes people make a mistake. Mayavadis make a mistake, thinking that akarma means free from, don't work, don't do anything. But Krishna says, no. And he says this type of a tongue twister. Tongue twister. How do you say tongue twister? Zungenbrecher. Yeah. One who sees action in inaction and inaction in action actually sees. So action in inaction, or karma in akarma. So in other words, if you just stop working, doesn't mean you are free from reaction. And one who sees inaction in action actually sees. So in other words, if you work without working, if you work detached, when you see freedom from karma in detached work, then you see. Or when you see reactions, karma, in an non-detached or external passivity, if you just stop working, then you actually see. If you just give up work, then the tax department comes and does something to us. Or somebody quarrels with us or something. Some reactions. Or you just get sick. Bhaktivinoda Thakur here says that don't give up work and endeavors, so you have to, because without activity you cannot even support your healthy life. You cannot even support your healthy life, and we need healthy life for, or the gross body, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, for bhajan, for developing ourselves. Now then, Srila Prabhupada says, intelligent men well know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material miseries. So, yoga or spirituality is not just about good things, but about transcendence, about going above simply good to the absolute good or to the transcendental. Although, whatever, we should not be afraid, because there is nothing better or more pious than yoga, and especially bhakti yoga. And this is the most fortunate, auspicious activity. So that will be in the next purport. Even if one just starts, just touches, just thinks about touching bhakti yoga, or even yoga, then at least he will get a human life, and definitely he will get a chance to continue, and unlimited blessings are there from the slightest touch to yoga. Prabhupada speaks about gradual elevation in the purport. He brings in the yoga ladder. There are steps of growth also in yoga. Usually karma yoga. First we start attached, just setting spiritual goals and beginning to, in the heart, to give up attachment. Then it becomes nishkama, we become free. And then we get realization, jnana yoga, knowledge. And then we can really meditate. So that's dhyana yoga. And then by focusing on Krishna, then our bhakti becomes very tasteful, or we reach bhakti, we become attracted you become very attracted to Krishna. So that's the, like bhava bhakti. So there is a yoga ladder. It's mostly the subject of the Bhagavad Gita study. So that we'll probably study in Simhachalam, the yoga ladder. That's very interesting topic, but we will not go in depth into it. But for me, it was a big discovery that the yoga ladder, these different steps in spiritual life, was very helpful to me personally. That was my first exposure to Bhakti Shastri. I remember I was dreaming. I was so eager to study Bhakti Shastri. I heard that there is a Bhakti Shastri. I was so eager, but I thought it's only in Vrindavan. And I thought, oh my God, I have service. How shall I? And then Purnachandra Maharaj. We were in Lithuania in the BBT. Our BBT center was for different languages was in Lithuania, and Purnachandra Maharaj came. And my temple president, wonderful devotee, Vaishampayana, Prabhu, he came to me and he said, "Look, Adi Purusa, we have Purnachandra Maharaj in Kaunas, in a nearby city, and he came to give a Bhakti Shastri there for 4 days. We covered 6 chapters in 3 days of the Bhagavad Gita. It was a real marathon. It was like we were studying from morning till 6 in the night. Like almost non-stop. And we had homeworks and reading forwards. I don't know how we did. I mean, this was really intense. So he said, and he's doing Bhakti Shastri, and the Sanatana Dharma, the temple president from there, he's asking, could you please go there, as a translator and, to help? Is it okay if you go there? Okay, yes. Why not? And then I went, and it was like the nectar I was always eager for. I was always looking. Because, by that time I had been in devotional service for maybe, 3 years approximately. And that was a stage where I felt very lost. Because by that time I already realized that this wonderful, pure, ecstatic devotion is somewhere far away. I realized I'm not a liberated soul and, perfect devotee, amazingly enough. And, 3 years were enough to realize that. But I also certainly don't want that material life back there. So I felt sort of like, yes, always keep the mic. Maybe, because they said yesterday when I move out they cannot hear. So I felt like, like somewhere out in the cosmos, in a space, spiritual perfection is some like far away star, the light from which travels, for 2,000 years to reach me, and material life is somewhere back, and I cannot just jump and be there, but I don't want to go back there, and I'm sort of not there already. So where am I? I don't know. And I was like, who am I? What am I? What am I doing? Okay, I'm chanting, but so it was, very uncertain time, like in a vacuum. And then there was this Bhakti Shastri. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This Bhakti Shastri, and then we had this yoga ladder. Many things were there, but the first 6 chapters of the Gita, Purnachandra Maharaj gives a wonderful explanation of the yoga ladder. By the way, you can download his very nice in-depth Gita lectures from vhe.org, our website, vhe.org. And so the yoga ladder, and it turned out that between there and there's a ladder. And all of a sudden it became clear, oh, there's a step here. And then the next step is there. And then the next step is, and all of a sudden I felt, there's a ground under my feet. Oh, okay, this is where I'm now. Oh, that's the next thing. This is what I can focus on now. So for me, it was, that was I was so happy. That's why I'm still teaching Bhakti Shastri. I'm still excited to speak and teach Bhakti Shastri. Yes, good, thank you. So that was my experience, and you can see Srila Prabhupada speaks about this. Srila Prabhupada certainly is very expert, and you can see, so that's in that paragraph in the middle. He says first, regulate the working energy, gradually realize the authority of Supreme Being, then positive knowledge. So these are the gradual steps. However, in the lower stages of life, Prabhupada says, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop fruity work. Basically, it means like, you cannot stop eating, for example, right? And that means we need to do something. So therefore, we need to learn how to connect things, how to act in yoga, or Ishavasya, or God-centered life and work. Prabhupada speaks about possible sense enjoyment extended to include society, nation, or humanity in general. It assumes various attractive names as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. These isms are certainly very attractive forms of karma bandhana, karmic bondage. I mean, how many people are there who are worried about the whole humanity? But Prabhupada says, well, this is karma bandhana. But the Vedic instruction of Sri Isopanishad is that if one actually wants to live for any of the above isms, he should make them God-centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man, or an altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, or a humanitarian, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasya, the God-centered conception. Prabhupada is teaching us that everything should be done as yoga, and ideally we want to do everything as pure bhakti yoga. Not even mixed bhakti yoga, not even as yoga, not even as mixed bhakti yoga, but as pure bhakti yoga, which is possible. And for many, for nowadays, for many people, becoming a family man is a great step forward, because you have to care about somebody else besides myself. Right? It's a step forward. Like oftentimes we criticize family attachment, like in Nevada, but compared to the modern mentality, that would be a step up when you try to take care of, have family and children. Yes, and what to speak about altruists and humanitarians. You know this joke that a vegetarian is someone who eats vegetables. So who is a humanitarian? And then we have this point here. In the Bhagavad Gita 240, Lord Krishna states that God-centered, you can see this is a key word, Srila Prabhupada plays again and again on this Ishavasyam. God-centered activities are so valuable that just a few of them can save a person from the greatest danger. And again he speaks, engage spirit in the energy in the spirit of Ishavasya. And then again down. A humble God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism. So God-centered. So our program is God plus, or plus Krishna. Not minus this, minus that, not minus meat, minus this, minus that. Our program is plus Krishna. And then naturally, whatever is not good will be minus. That's how it works. But the main, we focus, bhakti is positive. It's the main thing. So oftentimes we sort of tend to lean to, don't do this, don't do that, and be pure, pure. But and so we think, I should be pure. And but because the positive lacks, we become paralyzed. Because, okay, I must be pure, okay, I shouldn't do the impure, and I don't have the pure. So what do? Nothing. I just freeze. And sometimes we freeze for a long time. So Krishna warns about this in the third. Of course, if we touch bhakti in any way, there's no loss. If even the intention will help us, we'll move forward. But we want to move smoothly, without obstruction. So that's why we study these things. That our program is plus, Ishavasyam, God-centered, no problem. Kurvan, acting, please act. But with Krishna in the center. And of course, bhakti is so wonderful, we can engage everything and everybody. Then, Prabhupada says, when altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Shri Isopanishad, they become a form of karma yoga. Such activities are recommended in the Bhagavad Gita, 18.5.9. For they guarantee their executor protection from the danger of sliding down into the evolutionary process of birth and death, lower forms. Even though such God-centered, so it's like, 10 times Prabhupada repeats this, God-centered, Ishavasyam, God-centered, plus Krishna. God-centered activities may be half finished. They are still good for the executor, because they will guarantee him a human form in his next birth. Not only a human form, but also meeting with yogis and devotees. You will get the help. Another chance. And Prabhupada says that's a later addition, that we have it as nectar of devotion, the whole science you can study. So, two sides. Detachment, please be detached, and then but work. So the paradox, work without working, which in bhakti is very natural. If I act lovingly and I'm not passive, I'm acting, but I'm not selfish, because it's for you. Krishna, it's for you. But the problem in our conditioned brain is that when we do something repeatedly, it becomes mechanical, and we still have the thought that this is yoga, but it goes just like a routine, mechanic, thoughtless activity. In neurological terms, the activity goes to the basal ganglia. There are some things that are sort of something you do all the time. You can do automatically without any thought. Like sometimes you drive or you walk. There's a usual route you take, usual road, and sometimes you think, I must go there, also pick up mail or buy this. And you start walking or driving, and you wake up when you're already home or something. Oh, I forgot. Where was I? What I was doing? It was like so automatic that you didn't even notice. Even though in the beginning, when one starts learning to drive, oh yeah, first gear, second gear, no, clutch, oh, the wheel, oh, the lights, but then afterwards it's just you don't even notice. One doesn't even notice what one is doing. So therefore, we need to remember that yoga is the activity with the consciousness. So we need to offer. We need to offer the activity results and the activity itself and the ego. So devotee is, if you offer the ego, then everything is offered. But it's conscious. It's the more we do this, the more we advance, the more we feel the yoga, the connection. And bhakti is unique in that you can get this yoga in half an hour. Every other yoga you need decades, sometimes lifetimes. Jnana yoga, thousands of lifetimes. Bahunam janmanam ante. Before Krishna consciousness, I was a Buddhist, Vajrayana Buddhist. And in the books it said that if you do everything properly, if you follow all the vows, rules, behaviors, you have a guru, follow your lama with faith and surrender and devotion, and then do your sadhana, then you can reach nirvana in approximately 200 lives. Who's honest? And that's correct. That's what Gita also, that's what everybody says. But Bhakti Yoga is unique in that same life, Krishna says in the Gita, one thing. The other thing is that half hour. Just person comes to the kirtan. We come to the kirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we forget, am I the body, am I the mind, we get yoga. We just try to offer, and Krishna, all of a sudden, he says, okay, give it. And he takes, and you feel it. You get the connection. That's incredible. So, this is Krishna's recommendation. But if you don't do this, then verse 3. Asuryanama te loka andena tamasavrita tamste pratyabhigachanti ye ke chatmahano janaha. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Atmaha, killer of the soul. It has several meanings, Atmaha. Our main meaning for book street distribution, you don't do spiritual life, Atmaha. You lose your chance of human life. It's the first meaning. Next meaning, so that would be karma. Then the next meaning is a Mayavadi. Meaning I want to kill my identity. I just want to disappear. I just want to not exist. This existence is so painful. I just want to not be at all. Can you switch me off, please? Or something. Do you feel something like that? It's desire for liberation. Which means we don't understand what I actually is. So we lack the real experience of the real I, who is full of bliss and eternity, and we have only the experience of the painful false I, and we want to get rid of it. But if the person sticks to this material conception of Atma or I, so that's spiritual, so suicide, Mayavad. But on the way, this poor person tries to kill also Krishna, deny also Krishna's spiritual, that Krishna's name, form are spiritual. So that's why not only he tries to kill himself, his identity, he tries he insults Krishna. So that's very improper. And in the 10th canto, Jiva Goswami gives a third meaning to that, is that the closest probably to us is the hurting other, especially devotees, like criticizing, giving pain to living entities in general. That's an obstacle, but especially to devotees. So that becomes an obstacle for our growth. All right. So this mantra 3. So this is a warning. You can see that Upanishad is working through contrasts very often. It says, "You do this, so nice, but if you don't do, ha ha ha, this is very, very bad." So, from two sides. We always have yama and niyama. Do this, that's niyama, and don't do that, that's yama. Plus the results are described. So that's to direct the mind in a proper direction. And Prabhupada speaks very important words here. Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. So responsibility. And those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons, and those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Asura, Madhvacharya gives an explanation. He says, A-su-ra. So Ra, like we have Rama, Ranjana, enjoyment. And Su means nice, beautiful. And A means not. So those who enjoy that which is not good, that which is not nice, demoniac. A-su-ra, not good enjoyment, not good things. So the responsibility. So religion, true religion begins with taking this responsibility for our actions. And this is why we preach. Prabhupada speaks in the middle what happens if we don't. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature, because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. I remember I read this passage in the Science of Self-Realization. I remember I was distributing books. I came back from the BBT, and that was Ukraine 1992, I think, which collapse of the Soviet economy and complete, everything restructure, galloping inflation, terrible inflation, all the industries and factories falling apart, and we are trying to distribute books. And so I went to a factory that manufactured the torchlights, these torchlights with these metal tubes. And I was offering books, and I'm walking into the factory, and it's so noisy, these machines making so much noise. And I look, one lady, there is some apparatus where she rolls these metal tubes to make these torches. They did many things, but that was one of the things. And I see she doesn't have a finger in the wrong place. And she doesn't have a finger. And like hell. And then I'm trying to distribute books, and they say, how much is it? I say, oh, this is like half our salary. And I'm selling small books, you know. Only the director bought, he bought some books. I went to the director. He said, okay, we have some fund, pay him, give him, take, okay, let's take. He bought some books. But the others, they say, oh, we don't have enough for bread. And true, they showed me, okay, we get 900 coupons, they were called, it's like, paper, it's like monopoly, money, it's like useless. And they are working hard, they are not like, lying, being lazy. They're working in a hellish place. And they're laughing, and, and, oh, sorry, this is very expensive, sorry, nice book, but no, some one or two persons bought among the workers, and, okay, this higher. So I was so depressed after that. I was going home, I thought, what is this, like, look like good people, like working, diligent, and working like in hell, and they, their salary is just like a joke. It's, hardly enough for bread, not enough for bread, basically. And, I was thinking, what is this? And then I would usually, in public transport, going back to the ashram, I would read. So I opened the book, and this was the place. Why a human is given a comfortable life? Because he has higher responsibilities. And if you neglect these higher responsibilities, then here it's not so strongly expressed as in the science of self-realization, but in science of self-realization it says that then he is degraded to a position where he works like an ass for scraps of bread if he gets work. If he's not unemployed, he is threatened by unemployment, works very hard for scraps of bread. I was thinking about this because I was thinking that I'm, not a very hard-working person, and in my life I have never had any trouble getting my bread. Usually I have trouble getting too much bread. And and butter and all the other things. That was my experience. Even in that, those crises. I mean, these transition years. I remember even people were struggling in our in the temple. We would always have, somebody comes, brings 2 huge boxes of butter, brings something else, and we always have everything. And and I was thinking, what is this? I'm not as hardworking as these poor people in the hellish factory. And I have everything. And I read, ancient Sanskrit poetry and dance and sing, and Krishna feeds me, And they work so hard for just scraps of bread, crumbs of bread. And so this, and then Prabhupada says, why human gets better conditions? Because he has higher duties. So if you do your duties, what's your responsibility? Your responsibility is self-realization, God realization, spiritual life. You do that, you will get all the other things provided. That's the main duty. You do that, everything else will be given. Even if you are in the forest, somebody will come, bring you something. It happens. It's amazing. It happens. Krishna sends somebody. Krishna will send somebody. But if I neglect the main duty, then sooner or later, when I exhaust my previous good credits, then I can be reduced to that miserable condition. And if I don't become serious, then altogether into reduced to the animal life. And animal life is, it's not so easy. Like we see a lion, we think, oh, a lion or a tiger or somebody. Cheetah, how do you say cheetah? Gepard? One, fastest running. So it's not that they enjoy meat every day. They fast for a whole month. And only when it's intolerable they go and catch somebody. And they have to run really hard. And then, it's hard work for everyone. So, dark are the places. And, on the other hand, Prabhupada says, by simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family. You just try to do your duties. And Krishna is so happy. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, he's turning his face back. Oh, he's nice boy or girl. He's trying to become who he really is. He's coming to his senses, to the reality. The conclusion is, Prabhupada says, last paragraph, that as human beings we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Yeah, we should try to solve all the problems, also economic, everything, and we should try to, and it's our task to build communities, to build, happily, successfully functioning farms and businesses and so forth. That's also there. But God-centered for Krishna. Main thing. And also that means that this is the top charity you can give, top welfare, top gift you can give to, top present you can give to people. If they just touch the book, there's so many verses, you just have the book in your home, you are counted, it's already counted as Krishna worship. And people get saved from like I remember, this exact book, this exact picture, we often have this on Isopanishad, that's the classic Isopanishad cover, this Keshava with the Ananta Shash in the back. And I remember when our BBT was in Sochi, we had one person who shared his story there. He said that he was an alcoholic. And somehow or other, devotees managed to sell him a book, Isopanishad. And he, one day, he drank so much that he was dying. He was in his room, flat, and he started dying. And not just dying, but these terrible creatures with fangs and red hair and with chains and came, and they tied him and said, "You rascal, you wasted your life." And they tied him. He's choking, and they are pulling him out of the body. And he's terrified, completely, the Yamadutas. He's so terrified. And he's helpless. He doesn't know what to do. And that's the end of it. How did I live my life? And oh my God, what's happening now? And then his glance falls onto the bookshelf, and he sees the Isopanishad. And he sees Ananta Shesha in the back. And that's like the last hope. He looks at the book. It must have been it was some good book. Those Krishnas gave me this book. And he looks at the book. And then the rubies on Ananta Shesha's hoods start sparkling. And he looks at this, and then the Yamadutas stop. They see? Where is he looking? Oh, he's looking at the Ananta Shesha and Isopanishad. So they, okay, so they untie him, leave the ropes, and they say, "This time you're off the hook, but the next time." So the guy comes up, grabs the book, and just goes out into the city and walks street after street, asking, "Do you know these Krishnas who sell these books? Do you know where they are? Can you help me find them?" And he walks, street after street until he finds devotees and says, "Please give me more of these books and tell me more. What should I do?" And he became a devotee, a very nice devotee. So just he just had a book, and he was saved from the dark places and dark. Interesting. Questions, points here? Good, yeah, it's a good question. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that there are 4 reasons devotees may suffer. He mentions this in 2.3.17, famous verse, and in the 10th canto, Gopi Lila, the 4th reason. So one reason is to increase longing for Krishna. Reason. A second reason he mentions in the 10th canto, it can be offenses. Thank you. Third reason is very funny, to keep bhakti secret. Because if devotees, you just become a devotee, and immediately, boom, you drive Ferrari only, and you have 3 houses, and wonderful everything. I mean, everybody becomes a devotee. But why? Not to serve, not to reach Vaikuntha, but to drive a Ferrari, right? So we need to keep bhakti secret so that only sincere people come, and sincere people will see that, okay, this guy, like Purnachandra Maharaj said, he was teaching in England, and he didn't even have a phone. That was 20 years ago, no mobiles. So they had to call the phone booth outside and say, "Can you please call that person across the street from the flat number, whatever?" And but his landlord told him that, "I'm not clear, it's strange. It looks like you are a poor person. You don't look like a rich person, but you travel to India like almost every year, and you spend your life as some kind of an aristocrat, rich aristocrat. I see you start to study some ancient poetry and music and this, and you seem to live a very happy life and free from worries. So if you are looking for yoga, truth, reality, philosophy, then you can recognize, externally he seems poor or suffering, but internally he is rich. Or his life, it looks like he doesn't have, but actually he has everything. So it's like not quite... So it's to keep bhakti for the serious people. It's one of the reasons why Srila Prabhupada avoided any type of, external magic. just philosophy, just for serious people, right? And the fourth reason is similar, is to protect atheism, non-devotional philosophies, because come on, this is a material world. This is for those who don't want to serve Krishna, and out of the whole Chaturyuga, the Chaturyuga, the 4 yugas, Kali Yuga is 10%. So, and it exists only on earth, and only on Bharatvarsha, out of huge Jambudvipa, this is this little piece here, which we have always suspected. And these materialists, they need someplace, somewhere, sometime. That's why they came here. I don't know. Krishna has to give them this, alternative choice to have the conviction. Okay, God is not there. Where is God? Good, show me God. No, I don't. So Krishna, okay, I'll make it, so that they don't see that. Oh, you see these devotees? Yeah, he's, they are poor. His butter is not in his fridge, but in the temple's fridge. His barfis and sweets are not in his fridge, but in the dining hall. Something. He doesn't have his car. He has to take the chauffeur, the driver from the temple. So anyway, this is the one thing. There is one more reason. I don't know if we discussed this last year. Yes? Jayananda. Yes. Yes. Certain. Yes. I will get to this in a moment. Let's finish with this first. There is one more, possibility why devotees may suffer or seem to be poor or troubled. So, it could be something. It's not really offenses, but lack of clear. That's one of the it's one of the types of ignorance. Not knowing the path and the obstacles. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes what's the sadhana and what are the obstacles on the path. And therefore, they, when Sudama Vipra came to Krishna in Dwaraka, Krishna was shocked. He even asked, Sudama, are you married? I mean, what ashram are you in? You don't, it doesn't, it seems you should be married, but you look like you are, dying vanaprastha or something, with veins standing out in his, and 50 holes in his dhoti, and, very emaciated. And he was shocked, and then he thought, how is this that my devotee is so poor? It's not possible, I carry and I send, and he must be, he cannot. And then the reason given there is that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that there are two types of devotees. One type of devotee is neutral to wealth and poverty, so he accepts quota. He accepts whatever is his quota. But another type of a devotee is averse. He hates material things and wealth. He actively rejects, and it seems that this was the case of Sudama, and this was also Jiva Goswami's commentary. It's in our BBT Bhagavatam that that was the last slight contamination Sudama Brahmana had, that he had some pride in his poverty. He was proud about how poor and detached he is, and austere he is. So therefore, Krishna purified him from that by giving him palaces more opulent than Indra's palaces, with sapphire walls, coral columns, pillars, emerald floor. And Sudama, to keep detached, slept on the floor, but because the floor was emerald, he could not be too proud of. So that's another, oftentimes I think this is some type of an inner block to a healthy, wealthy and balanced life, which we will be warned about in Isopanishad in the middle. And I don't know, it seems that this is often a difficulty in these places around here, like Germany. I notice for some reason, I don't know, that oftentimes devotees struggle for, I would think devotees don't need to struggle for these things, but it seems that oftentimes devotees, especially here, they have to struggle for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that. I think in Germany it's not possible to be like it's a welfare state, so you are supported. So from the greater perspective, nobody is really bad materially, but I do notice that there is some type of this phenomenon that you mentioned, and I was also wondering, is it that they hate? There's some inner subtle block to this, that we must be poor, or that wealth is dirty, or I don't know what it is. I think that there could be something connected with this. Sometimes, in some cases also, when a devotee is too attached to wealth and at the same time is sincere, then he may have to, then Krishna sends him some difficulties or apparent difficulties so that devotee can become neutral. So the solution to that is basically neutrality and balance. And this is, in fact, this is the main message of it. For us, this is the main conclusion of the Isopanishad, balance. That was the scandal in the middle, be balanced in spiritual life. On the street, of course, it means for them, just start your spiritual life. They don't. But for us, it means balance and taking care of all the sides. You have some comment, please? Mm-hmm. Okay. Quota, yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And then you balance around that. Yes. If once you know, then you balance around that. No, yeah. So coming back to your work and hard work, so there are, we can say, three stages. First stage, a brahmachari training, which means like Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Oh my God, he's so hard working. When I was 20, I could travel with him. When I became 27, I told him. Sometimes he says, I'm going Central Asia. You come with me? I say, Maharaj, you don't sleep. You speak for 10 hours a day. You meet 100 people a day, and I'm after 3 days with you, I'm dead. So if there is nobody, I will come, but I'm very afraid. I'm very scared, because last time I went, I was dead and very inside, and he just laughed, ha. And I said, okay, I have somebody else. I'm sorry, I just honestly told him, that's. So he says that as a brahmachari, at least, there must be some period, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, some time to break the tamas, to break the laziness, where he says that wherever you walk, you run. So that's some training. You do everything you're told, and you need to, to learn, to be fleißig, to be diligent, to be working, hard working, and surrendered. Then, so that's we can say that's the first hard working stage, right? Bhakta program, and after that, it shouldn't break marathons. It shouldn't break the person. He should be given. There still should be proper balance. He needs to be given time for japa, even though sometimes some squeeze is helpful to to push him forward, him or her. And then the next stage is usually you already find your nature, you find your work, you find your service, you are adjusted, and the best is you balance properly, that everything is peaceful, balanced. You work hard, but not the comfort zone, but not the panic zone. Growth zone, stretch zone. Some balance. Little stretch, but not too much, not to the point of breaking. And then you have the third stage, people like saints, like Jayananda or Gopal Krishna Maharaj or some others, who are just so, who have so much love that for them austerity does not exist. In love, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kadambini says that on the stage of ruchi, one doesn't feel tiredness. Just like lovers can have sex and a sleepless night, but they are happy. It's not an austerity or something that they regret. Very risky. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is really, he's very extreme in his. But I mean, this is a very clear comparison, right? Very clear analogy. So that's ruchi. From ruchi, that's like Jayananda and others, ruchi and above. It's never enough. They want more and more and more. But for them, it's not austerity. It's expression. Prabhupada says labor of love. Like he woke up at midnight after just a couple hours, 4 hours of sleep or something, 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep, and he would translate for half a night for us. And that's why now we have like this Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita from him. Out of love. It's not, and you can see, you can see yogis who don't sleep, or devotees who are artificially not sleeping, and tired and angry and, black bags under the eyes. Prabhupada doesn't have that. He was always very, even though he was sleep deprived for decades. But he was happy. He was happy, balanced, kind. It didn't affect, even healthy. He exercised. He did exercise, walking very, very hard every day, and other things, massage, these other things. But so that's the next stage of hard working. So we are not against hard work. Hard work is, but again, it's for training, for a marathon to push you forward to the next stage. Marathon should also be properly measured. Like I had a marathon in the BBT once for too long, and it broke my. I have insomnia. No, it was like almost 2 months, and something. And I was also quarreling with my Bhakta leader and this and that, and something broke. Now I cannot sleep. I mean, I have trouble sleeping. So that's usually maximum 1 month marathon, and usually happily. It should be done happily. Then it's helpful for moving to the next stage. And then labor of love. You have so much taste that it's not an austerity. It's never. You are just happy to do all these things, but it's not artificial, except for the training. So it's for the training period that's helpful. Okay. Mani Manjari, you had some point, comment, question, idea? He was not neutral. So this is like, actually for Vanaprastha that's okay. Vanaprastha, they can be austere. But sannyasi is supposed to be neutral. The goal of a sannyas ashram, or cultivation of a sannyasi, is neutrality, being neutral for either this or that. Not just severe austerity, but neutrality. That's the practice. So also a devotee. We can see that many qualities of a devotee are taken from description of a sannyas ashram, being neutral, being not dual in material things. You had some point? Yes. Yes. Yes, thank you. It's sort of figurative. It's so a Mayavadi, the soul cannot be killed, but a Mayavadi tries to artificially switch off the individuality. That's why he's called killer of the soul. A materialist, he doesn't realize at all any potential of the soul. That's why he's called the killer of the soul. It's not that he actually kills the soul, but that's he doesn't live as a soul, neither he nor Mayavadi. So that's in that sense. You cannot kill the soul. It's eternal. It should be a good news for everyone. Good. Aditya, Maulik? Yes. There are three considerations about this. One consideration that this is a distortion of Buddha's teachings. Buddha didn't teach specifically about soul and God. He just smiled. He didn't teach about this, so therefore afterwards they tried to invent, and you can see so many different philosophies, so many different doctrines. And for example, when I was a Buddhist, I took it as the denial, exactly like our books are saying, that this is the rejection of any possible tinge of the material concept and material ideas of the false ego. So there is no false ego. This anatta or anatma doctrine, this was in fact you can see that the real Buddhists, they lived in Mathura. You can see in Mathura Museum hundreds of statues of Buddha. There were 25,000 Buddhist monks, and they lived very happily together with the Vaishnavas, because it seems that they were Vaishnava type of Buddhists who were worshipping Buddha as a form of the Lord. And you can still see many Buddhists who are saying, we go to the Pure Land, they offer everything to the Lord, they chant the name of Buddha, and they want to go to his planet and be there. So there's a Vaishnava type of a Buddhism, like devotional type of a Buddhism. And the Buddhism that's nowadays considered Buddhism from Sri Lanka, that was brother of Ashok's guru, who was kicked out of India for preaching exactly this type of atheistic Buddhism, like denying everything. That was a heresy, and he was kicked out. There's one devotee, Bhakti Ananda Goswami. So he studied that, and he wrote several articles about this, good articles, so where he discusses this. And the third point is that you can see that these doctrines are not really philosophies. They don't explain life. Because in life we see that, like the first mantra speaks about three things. Every philosophy has to explain three things. There is three phenomena: God, then there is the soul or jiva or consciousness, and there is matter or unconscious matter. And soul is connected with matter through karma. God controls matter through time. You can recognize the 5 topics of the Gita. And the soul can reconnect with bhakti. So this is the mystic triangle. If you know this, you know everything. And every philosophy has to explain it. Chit, Achit, and Ishvara. Consciousness, dead matter, unconscious matter, and the supreme controlling law. Ishvara. So you can see that in our life we all experience that three things are there. There is me, conscious, right? There is dead matter, I can do anything, I can throw it and it doesn't object. There is no society for protection of, abused chairs or something. They are sentient, dead by definition, and there is some law. Things dropped, fall down, and so forth. So every philosophy has to speak about this. But so even a child can see that these three things exist. But materialism denies the soul, saying soul is a product of matter and God is a fantasy of the soul, consciousness. So basically they deny two of the phenomena we observe, even a child sees. Impersonalists or Buddhists, impersonalists are saying that matter is an illusion, doesn't exist, or cannot even say exist or not, and some mistake. And soul and God are one. So again, they deny two of them. Buddhists also sort of practically try to deny all three of them. Only Vaishnavism explains each three as real and their true place. Okay, God is real, absolute, unchanging, but he has Shaktis. One is matter Shakti, one is Jiva Shakti, and they interact. Only Vaishnava philosophy explains this. So I say this is the only one which is a philosophy. The other doctrines are psychological. You quarrel with people, you feel misery from body and everything, and the tendency is to become angry or depressed or eager or whatever, lusty, all these things. So then you think, no, it's all empty. This world is empty, and I am empty, and everything is empty. And this emptiness is also empty. And the emptiness of that emptiness is also empty. And so to the 18th degree. So once you empty this out, empty, become peaceful. Gradually, you just say about which you cannot say anything. Even that is too much said. It's not hot, cold, big, small, there, not there, nothing. Even that is, not even nothing. And they just basically get stuck there for a long time. Sort of samadhi, so they can, chill out there. Once they chill out, maybe they will, okay, who am I? And then they can do something else. Right? So that's this pradhan mad, Karanaush. But you don't need these false. Basically, if you understand that I'm Krishna Das, I'm energy of service, I have responsibility. This is connected to the point. This is a very important point. A responsibility. Responsibility means I am a doer. You are doers. We are doers. Jiva is a doer. Otherwise, where's responsibility? That's why karma is there. And this is what Vyasadeva says in Vedanta Sutra 2.3.33. This is doer, dependent but responsible. Jiva is a dependent doer, but so basically when it is this is Vedanta Sutra. Om karta shastrartavatvat. Vedanta Sutra 2.3. Vedanta Sutra 2.3.33. It's quoted in Bhagavad Gita 18.13, where 5 factors of action are discussed, and soul is one of them. So when it is said, you are not the doer, it means you are not the controller. You're not God. You're not the controller. You're not the only doer. And when it is said you are the doer, it means you are the chooser. You are the desirer. You choose your desires. In that sense, that's why we carry responsibility. That's why we have karma. If we were not doers in that sense, if we were not choosers, if we were not desirers, karma would not be fair. Well, if I have no choice, why punish? It's not fair. This is why Vyasadeva says, Om Karta. Jiva is the doer. Why? Shastrartavatvat. Because Shastra has meaning. There is a Shastra given not only to devotees, but even to tamasic people. Okay, offer meat to Kali. It's tamasic, but still, it brings them up. Do yagya and become rich. Yeah? So it's rajasic. So even between modes, there is a choice. Between the modes, there is a choice. So we are the choosers. And Shastra is given to everybody. And that's why human life is life of responsibility, because we earn karma. We choose, and according to choices, we move up, down. In animal and plant lives, there is automatic evolution to the human form. But in human form, we can go up, but we can go down, sidewise. So we are the choosers. So you can see that that's in the Gita discussed in the 5th chapter, that all 3 are doers, but the soul is dependent doer, whereas matter is dead by definition. So and Krishna says, Nadate kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhu. The Lord doesn't make anybody a sinner or a saint. He doesn't force anybody. He says, I'm neutral. So God and matter are neutral doers. So all 3 are doers. All 3 are real factors, real parts of action. but they are neutral, so therefore it's very important. We should not blame them. Whereas we should be detached because we are dependent. We are not the controllers. But we are responsible because we are the choosers. You understand this, you are free. Hare Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says. Demons say, yeah, that's what Kamsa, said. When tried to kill Yoga Maya, she flew in the air as Durga, and Kamsa says, he gets scared. She says, you Kamsa, you idiot, Krishna is already there in another place. Your death is already there. So he gets scared, and what does he say to Vasudeva? He says, oh dear Vasudeva and Devaki, it's we are all under karma. It was your karma, I killed your children, but you understand, I'm just instrument of your karma, I'm not responsible. And Vasudeva and Devaki, being humble devotees, say, yeah, we know it's our karma. Yeah, true. No problem. They accept it. But demons try to avoid responsibility. Devotees, you can see Yudhishthir fought Kurukshetra. Krishna told him, fight. All the sages told him, fight. Bhishmadev told him, fight. And still after the fight he says, oh, I am a rascal, so many people died because of me, I'm not going to rule. It took Bhishmadev 2 months of teaching him Shanti Parva, Anushasika Parva, Moksha Dharma, and then only okay. So a devotee is responsible because we know we are the choosers. So that's why we distribute the books and we are studying, and that's why we are told, detached but work for Krishna, offering things for Krishna. Good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now the next 2 verses will describe the qualities of that Isha. Who is that Isha? And so mantra 4 and 5, and mantra 6 and 7 describe the practice of this offering, developing vision of a devotee, God-centered, how to see Isha everywhere, how to see Ishavasyam. So, you can try to count the qualities. I want to ask you to, for 4:30, 4:30, please count the qualities of Krishna you can count in mantras 4 and 5. How many qualities of Krishna you can collect from 4 and 5, these 2 verses. And then we'll continue at 4:30. Hare Krishna. Any more points, questions, ideas, doubts, expressions of ecstasy? Yes, please. Vikarma, sin. Karma, materialistic action, pious action. Karma, pious action. Yeah, so, yes. So vikarma, sin, karma, pious action, akarma, freedom from work and reaction, and so-called akarma, impersonalism. And you will see when we will criticize knowledge, or criticize, like knowledge. So we will have these three categories. Whenever we criticize something, we will have like sinful knowledge, atomic bombs, and I don't know, slaughterhouses, right? All these type of things. Karma, pious action, Veda Vadarata, pious Veda, but material. And akarma, so-called akarma, impersonalism, again, not reaching your true potential in the spiritual world and just falling into the Brahman. So, coming back shortly, just to give you one more thing to play with before the next session at 4:30. In the 5th chapter, there is this comment by Sridhar Swami Baladevi de Bhushan saying that once you understand this proper responsibility of the soul, you become free. It opens the door from the material world. In other words, that as long as we are conditioned, we blame Krishna. We think that Krishna, even Vedanta Sutra addresses this. Vaishamya nairgrinye na sapekshatva tatahi darshayati. People say the Lord is unfair, or the Lord is cruel. So the answer is no. He responds, interacts according to our choices, to our actions, to our karma. And this is shown in all the Shastra. So we are the choosers. And when you understand this, then you are free. And when I read this shocked me, because I'm not free. I'm not free. And what does it mean? It means that even though I claim I'm a devotee, I'm a loving devotee, Hare Krishna, Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna. In fact, secretly, I think Jai, yes. But I think that, he's okay to him, he's okay to them. But I think, to me, he's a little, too strict. It looks like. He doesn't like something, maybe, he doesn't like my city or my nose or my, I don't know, something in me. He's like partial, not quite fair. Because I'm chanting and I'm in a temple. Okay, sometimes I push people and I do this and that, and but I'm chanting. I'm here. So secretly I blame him. I think that he is not fully merciful. So the opposite is a super powerful technique for becoming free from conditioning, to say that Krishna is fair and kind. And this is what Brahma says in the 10th canto. Tate nukampam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagva purbhir vidadhan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhag. He's saying that a devotee who, whatever happens to him, accepts as fair, result of my activities, atma kritam, done by me, vipakam, result, and reduced by the mercy, improved by the mercy of Krishna, anukampam. He's expert in finding that everything is anukampam, perfect mercy of Krishna. Such a devotee, Brahma says, who is happy, tolerant, and grateful to Krishna, then he's already confirmed as the resident of the spiritual world. He's already confirmed as, having a ticket to Krishna. So this is also a practice. It's similar to this practice, all correct. Yeah. So saying that it's all correct, it means that Krishna is fair and kind. This is your mercy. And how do you say thank you in French? How do you say thank you in Italian? Yes, same in Latin. Grazie, ago. Greek, Eucharistos. All of these mean mercy. It's your mercy. So a secret way to do this is whenever you're dissatisfied, you find how to be thankful for what's happening. Find the positive result or influence from what's happening. What's positive, and how to thank Krishna. How to see this as mercy. So thank. So it's even like more than okay. It's saying that thank you, Krishna. It's your mercy. And you see. Yes, it was painful, but you train me. It gives me the. It was maybe unpleasant, but thank you. You train me in tolerance. You give me a chance to go deeper in myself. You give me a chance to make my realization deeper. You train my ability to tolerate or forgive. So thank you. Or a simpler way, Krishna, thank you. By my karma, I had some little lesson, but at least I have devotee association. Or at the same time, you protected me from the worst. I have nice prasadam. And nice temple, nice deities, kind deities, and wonderful association. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Please count the qualities, beautiful qualities of our merciful Krishna from verses 4 and 5. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. Did we discuss this last year? And thank yous, mercy, I don't remember if we were speaking, no? Okay.